If you're running ads to try to book calls, in today's video, I'm gonna give you 5 very simple hacks that you can do immediately to drop your cost per call. And my name is Evan Seach. I manage over 7 figures in ad spend per month, and I work with some of the biggest household name brands in the coaching space, agency space, B2B space, some software companies, even some real estate funds and syndications. And these are 5 things that we literally do to drop cost per call by upwards of 30 to 50% overnight sometimes. And again, these are 5 very simple things that you can just do right now. So pick 1 or 2 of them, go execute after this video, and of course, report back in that comment section once you see that cost per call drop. But let's get right into it. All right, so the first hack is to open up more call slots, okay? Very simple. So whenever we step into an account, a lot of the times we'll see very limited availability within 72 hours, and that's a big problem. So really what you want to see is the widest amount of availability 1 to 3 days out whenever somebody sees your calendar. So personally, our calendar is literally open from 8 a.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you're hearing that and you're like, I can't sell all day long, I got stuff to do, cool, get a closer. Okay, you need to have more availability to drop your cost per call, because what happens is if you have limited availability, there's less and less convenient spots for the next person to book in on. So they're more likely to just bounce off of the page and not book it all. So if you have more slots open for people to choose from, then your cost per call will drop, because again, there's more slots for them to pick in that are very convenient for them. So very simple, open up more call slots, open up more times. And what I love doing too is on Calendly, that's our preferred calendar. Doesn't matter what you use. Again, we love the Typeform Calendly combo. I'll get to that in a second here too. What I like doing is allowing people to schedule every 15 minutes. So it'll look like, 8:15's open, 8:30's open, 8:45's open, 9's open. Every 15 minutes, there's something open unless I have a meeting or some sort of call that's already booked in. But giving people access to book in 15-minute increments really does also help, because it allows them to, again, just pick a very convenient spot on your calendar for them. So that's the first thing that I would look at to literally drop your cost per call by 30 to 50%, is to just open up more slots throughout the day, open up the weekends too, and also just allow your calendar to be open every 15 minutes for somebody to select in on. And moving over to number 2 is combine your application plus your scheduler, okay? So your calendar. Basically, we love using the Typeform plus Calendly combo, but basically you want your application and your calendar integrated with each other. And what this does is it reduces the drop off. So if you have a severed calendar booking page after your application page, what we typically see is usually a 20 to upwards of 50% drop off from people that fill out the application and go to your actual calendar booking page. Because basically, if you integrate your application and your calendar on one page, it's a very seamless booking process. People don't have to go in and enter their information again. Like, how many times have you guys gone through a funnel? You fill out this long application, you fill out your name, phone number, and email, you click submit, then you go to another page that takes a little bit longer to load, and then you gotta enter your details again. You're bouncing off that page. So again, typically what we see is a 20% to a 50% drop off from people that filled out an application to those that booked in a call. Big problem. So very simple, just integrate Typeform and Calendly. So usually what our applications look like is we'll have question 1, question 2, question 3. We'll do name, phone, email, and then that last step in Calendly, usually we'll have a partial submit here. And then the last step in the Typeform is very simple. It's literally the calendar. And all of these details pull over onto the calendar booking step, so they don't have to re-enter their name, phone number, and email, which is super annoying. So I love doing that. If you do this right now, it's going to drop your cost per call if you are not doing it. I promise you that. Moving to hack number 3 is looking at the actual design of your landing page. So here's the thing, okay? A lot of landing pages that I see whenever we actually get people that book in calls with us or join our coaching group, by the way, if you want the information to either of those, click down below. But whenever I look at some pages, I actually feel afraid to put my information in. Like, most of it looks like a complete and total scam. I think I'm gonna get my phone hacked when I'm on some of these pages. So the design of your landing page just straight up builds trust and makes people feel welcome and like they're at home. You're advertising to cold traffic, okay? If you have a landing page that's some janky looking GHL template, it's very just cut, dry, bland, that has like stock images everywhere and very bright colors, like red colors that just distract you, It doesn't matter how good your copy is, how good your ad is, people are gonna bounce off. So seriously, pay the extra $300, $400, $500 to get somebody who can sit down and design your landing page first on something like Figma. Like, get a good UI UX designer that can design a page very clean on Figma, and then very simple, have somebody build that into a platform like ClickFunnels 2.0 or Webflow. We have built in GHL, we do build in GHL, but every single time we build in ClickFunnels 2.0 or Webflow, the results are way better. The user experience is better, the platform's cleaner, you can design cleaner pages on those platforms, so I would pick those. But again, just literally sit down and say, okay, I'm gonna put a couple $100 or some extra time into making this freaking page look good. We have literally just redesigned pages. Same copy, same ads, same VSL, no change whatsoever. Just redesign the page and we've dropped the cost per call significantly. Just again, by making people feel like this dang page is not a scam. It also makes you look way more professional and just overall builds trust with that cold traffic. So they stay on that page longer and they convert at higher rates. So put some cash, time, and effort into seriously making your page look good. Hack number 4 is making more ads. So I have a full Meta Andromeda guide on this channel. It's gonna be right around here for you. But basically Meta right now wants you to give it a ton of ads and a ton of unique, individualized, diverse creatives. You have to be supplying the algorithm with a high volume of ads. I'll audit some accounts and they're literally putting out like 5 to 10 ads. Maybe per month, they'll put out 30 to 40. Wow. So just for context, every single ad set or campaign that we launch, we're launching with a minimum of 20 to 30 ads, minimum. And we always have about 15 to 20 just on reserve, just chilling in a Google Drive, just ready to run at any point. Because here's the thing, when you run ads, you have a hit rate of about 5 to 10%. And I define hit rate as basically being an ad that scales into KPI. So you put out 100 ads, you might find 5 to 10 winners. So if you're only putting out, 5 to 10 a week or 30 to like 40 a month, that's a big problem because you're just essentially lowering your chances of finding winners. So what we like to do on any account that we're really trying to aggressively scale is we say, all right, per month at a bare minimum, we're putting out 120 new ads. That essentially gets us on the low end, 6 big winners, and on the high end, 12 big winners in the account for that respective month. So just put out more ads, put out more individual creatives. And here's the thing, again, watch my Meta Andromeda guide video. We're not doing hook plus body variations, we're doing full length ads. So yes, this is going to take some time. It's gonna be difficult. You're gonna have to sit down and write a bunch of ads, but guess what? That's part of the game. But if you put out more ads, you'll find more winners and that's going to drop your overall cost per call on the account because again, you're just finding more winners. So very simple, write down a number and say, these are the amount of ads that I'm going to film every single month, and I'm gonna make it a priority to launch these in the account. All so I can just find more winners. That's literally it. And number 5 here is to just loosen up your application. So a lot of the times I'll have somebody that has like a 5 to 7 question application. And I ask them like, why did you do that? And they say, oh, I just want to add friction or I need to get a qualified person through. So I need them to answer these 5 to 7 questions before they actually book in. And here's the problem with that is their messaging on the front end just sucks. So that's why they're not pulling in the right people. So they think that having this insanely long application with a ton of friction is going to essentially get the right person through, optimize the pixel, all that stuff. No, there is a time and place to increase friction, but that's when you have the messaging dialed on the front end and you really want to just tighten up the flow. So what we do is we start out with 2 to 3 questions, 1 that's a non-financial qualifier, 1 that's a financial qualifier, and maybe 1 other question in the application that is going to be used in the sales process. That's it. I don't go crazy with applications. Again, there's a time and a place to increase the friction. But if you're watching this right now and you have this insanely long application and you're just in your mind thinking it's gonna increase friction, give me better quality, try reducing it down to this structure here. 2 to 3 questions, then get the contact details right after that, and then allow somebody to book in on your calendar, okay? Try that out. You're gonna be very shocked. And of course, make sure that on the front end, your messaging is actually speaking to the right person. And I have other things on this channel talking about messaging, so make sure to watch those. But again, look at your application because a lot of times I look at them, I'm like, man, this is insanely long. This feels like a freaking test that I went through in high school. And some of these questions are there for absolutely no reason. And also, by the way, get rid of any of those questions that just piss off cold traffic, like, are you the type of person that shows up? Mark yes if you're actually gonna show up to this call. It's like, dude, get rid of that, okay? And get rid of the ones that say stuff like, are you ready to invest $5,000 to $10,000? Like, make sure you're ready to invest on this first call. It's like, dude, I don't even know you yet. I don't even know really what you sell that much. I saw an ad, I saw your landing page, I went through a couple questions. Like, dude, I don't know you yet. I like showing price at certain points within applications as like honeypot questions to people that mark stuff in an unqualified manner, but I don't do that by default. I only do that in certain circumstances. So again, loosen up your application. And this is technically number 6. I want to give you all a little bonus here, but I literally have a case study on this YouTube channel talking about this, but cut your opt-in page. Okay, so a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go opt-in, then they'll go VSL page, and then confirmation, or they'll do the whole severed calendar and application step. But basically they'll try and collect name, phone number, and email on one page before somebody actually goes over to a VSL page. And the problem with that is you're just adding friction for no reason. Unless you can directly attribute revenue to people that only filled out this opt-in page, that only submitted name, phone number, and email, and they did not fill out an application on the VSL step, they did not book in a call. If you can directly attribute revenue and do the math to say, okay, having this step is worth it because we're getting people that book in from setters and actually buy, or they book in through our email marketing on the back end and they actually buy, and it's worth having that extra friction step, that's the only time I'll keep it. Most of the time though, it's just there for no reason. And you're probably thinking in your mind like, oh, well, I want to capture their information so I could dial them. And if they don't actually book in, then if that's the case, then again, literally do the math, because you are hurting your cost per call quite a bit by just forcing somebody to fill out their information to even see your freaking offer in the first place and get more details. Big problem. So I will have an opt-in step if I have a savage setting team, I have a great email marketing strategy, or if I'm selling something very, very B2C, and I have to be able to directly attribute revenue to people that only opted in and did not book a call or submit an application further down the funnel. Most of the time, this is just a wasted step. And again, I have literally a case study where we dropped George's cost per call by 68% overnight by slashing the opt-in page. So if you have any questions on that, comment it down below, because again, I want to make sure that you understand this, because most people default to this because they think, again, I'm gonna collect their information, I'm gonna dial them, but really it's adding an extra friction step. It's inflating their cost per call. It's getting over half the people to not even see the freaking VSL page of the application to begin with, just because they don't wanna submit their damn information to even see your offer. It's an extra friction step for no reason. So right there are technically 6 different hacks that you can walk away with right now to drop your cost per call. So what I advise you do right now is pick 1 to 2 of them and just go implement. Comment below which ones you're actually going to do as well, so you can hold yourself accountable and I can see it too and make sure that I can hold you accountable. I'll check in with you in like a week or 2 in the comments to say, hey, how'd that test go? Did you actually implement it? So pick 1 or 2 things that are the highest leverage thing that you can do right now out of this list to drop your cost per call. Comment it below, and then if you want to get more details about some of our offers, like our Inner Circle program or our core offer, all the links are down in the description below. And if you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter at EvanSeach or on Instagram at EvanSeach. I'll see you on the next one.